The Crypto Markets Update is presented by Grayscale, the world's largest digital currency asset manager.
Our guest today is crypto content creator Gabriel Haines. Over the past couple of months, I've personally watched Haines' unedited videos take hold among an audience of cryptocurrency traders and investors, and I asked him to join the show to talk about the culture of Bitcoin and the power of crypto content creation. Gabriel Haines, welcome to All About Bitcoin.
Galen, thank you very much for having me.
So to start off, tell me a little bit about yourself, your background, and what you do.
Sure. Well, my name is Gabriel. I'm a content creator, as you mentioned. I started my cryptocurrency journey about a year and a half ago. And since the beginning, I've started to make tutorials and interviews with all types of people that are in the space. And recently, I started doing more short-form content on Twitter. So that's what I do. I'm very involved in the Ethereum community. I have started 2 DAOs at this point. So that's basically where I am on the day-to-day.
I think we have a clip of one of those short form videos on Twitter to show, so our audience can get a taste of that. Let's take a look at that now if we can.
CT! It may be raining outside, but remember, your governments are still failing you. Your institutions are failing you. Remember why you came to crypto in the first place? Was it to make a couple dollars? Or was it to see a change? What do we say to Gary? Not today, Gary. What do we say to Elizabeth? Not today, Elizabeth. Hold on tight, and we are gonna make it.
So, calling out Gary Gensler, SEC chairman there, and Senator Elizabeth Warren. Gabriel, that was one of your more popular videos. Tell us what you were trying to do there. Why do you think people responded to it?
Well, I think that crypto was founded on this idea of distrust in institutions. We all know famously in the Bitcoin Genesis block, Satoshi's calling out the British government for bailouts. And that's also why I got into crypto at the beginning of 2020. The Fed announced that it was going to print a lot of money, cause a lot of inflation. And I remembered from my past that Bitcoin was kind of a solution to this. So I think that this sentiment has definitely is the foundation of crypto in many ways and has stayed in crypto. And this is just the embodiment of today. Gary Gensler has all sorts of opinions, as well as Elizabeth Warren have all these opinions about crypto. And they're very just self-interested. I don't think it comes from a place of wanting to, further the wealth of the people or further technology or grow the pie. I think it comes from a very self-interested point of view. So that's kind of the idea that I was kind of trying to capture in that video.
Where do you think that anti-establishment bent is going, Gabriel? Like, where is that going to take us eventually? Beyond next year, or even maybe the year after that. What's the sort of long-term mission of this kind of crypto ideology, if you will?
Well, I just think that it's really about breaking down the gatekeepers and enabling people to take ownership over their money, over their lives. And I think we're going to go in that direction whether the government likes it or not, because at the end of the day, I believe crypto is driven by market forces, and it's just people wanting to use this platform and, these platforms. And as more people have access to crypto and it's easier to use, and this will naturally grow. And this is where we're headed, whether it's supported by the state or not.
There's a kind of a humorous element, I think, in your videos, and just kind of a little. Sometimes I feel like there's a little bit of a tongue-in-cheek or an inside joke. Talk about that, if you would, a little bit. How does that sort of tie into this? The things we're talking about here are fairly serious. Where does this kind of humorous aspect of crypto Twitter culture play into that?
I mean, I think that you picked quite a serious video. That is one of my more serious, more political videos. Most of what I talk about is kind of crypto Twitter inside baseball in many ways, just like, airdrops that have happened and certain events that have happened and certain feelings that people have that are very active within the space within crypto Twitter. I think that in many ways I'm embodying crypto Twitter. You can be very extreme. One day you're going to the moon and the next day you're living in a dumpster. Working at McDonald's. So I think that I just kind of embrace the meme, embrace the kind of the culture that is crypto Twitter. And that's kind of the character that came out. I don't know why it's this particular fashion, but people seem to resonate with it.
2021 was a big year for memes, meme coins, meme stocks. I feel like the whole idea of memes entered the financial lexicon, at least in a kind of a more mainstream way than it has in the past. How important do you think the cultural component is in understanding markets and investing?
Oh, it's extremely important. I mean, memes are everything, and I think that this is something that I have certainly learned over the past year from people like Eagle Capital, Z Prime Capital. These are people, VCs, investors that really embrace the meme ideology or the meme culture. And there was actually a point where I personally felt that I really wanted to embrace the meme. Before I was making these short-form videos, I was doing interviews with all sorts of developers and users, and I really enjoyed that, and I love podcasting. But you see that for whatever reason, people resonate with these jokes a lot more than any sort of serious educational content, because you can actually pass over so much more information. There's so much more signaling in a meme, and that makes people feel close. That gives a sense of community. So I've really tried to embrace the meme. I kind of even had that idea in my mind that I wanted to embrace the meme, those words specifically, and I think you see that kind of in the videos that I'm making. That is really embracing the cultural memes.
So, is there should I be sort of, as an investor, should people be thinking about how do you understand that meme? How do you read that meme? Is there like a kind of is there a language that's being spoken here that maybe previous generations of investors are going to have a hard time catching up to?
Potentially. I mean, Kobe, who is a very big influencer on CT, he just recently wrote a very interesting article about narratives and trading the meta. He called it, and he made it very similar. He called crypto trading in a bull market very similar to a video game, in the sense that it's just about narratives. It's the attention economy. So if people are interested in a particular narrative, in a particular set of protocols, those are the things that are going to perform well, whether or not they have massive amounts of TVL or stuff like this. This is his theory. I'm just you should read the article if you wanted to learn more. But I think it is definitely
That's Crypto Cobain you're talking about, right? Is that the person you're referring to?
He changed his name. He's Kobe now.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah. Well, so let's talk about some of those narratives. You mentioned like total value locked. I think in some ways, sometimes that kind of data becomes an important part of the narrative, right? Stock to flow ratio, for example, is a way of sort of incorporating data into narrative. Let's talk about what's kind of where you see what narratives you see developing in Bitcoin, or maybe you mentioned you're active in the Ethereum community. What's the strong narrative that's developing there, and how are sort of those competing crypto cultures evolving in terms of their mimetic evolution?
I don't know about future narratives, but definitely a narrative that was 2 months ago was like the Ohm fork kind of theme, Ohm fork meta, if you will. So every other day there was a new Ohm fork. There was doing all sorts of nonsense, really.
That's
but that was a
meaning Olympus DAO, correct?
Yeah, exactly. So people were just copying the protocol and just slapping on some new marketing, and that was, that's the narrative, and now everyone's just gonna ape into this protocol because it's, an Ohm fork and it should be valued at whatever. And so that is an example of a situation of just writing narratives. It has nothing to do with the actual fundamentals. But I mean, you can also combine, like you mentioned, you can combine those two things. I mean, the most powerful investment perhaps is one that actually has, good fundamentals, a good business, and also has very good memes and, insider jokes and community built around it.
That's interesting. Can you think of an example of a crypto project, or even, maybe even a company or a stock that has that kind of combination of fundamentals and, mimetic enthusiasm?
Well, I don't know. I mean, obviously there's the classic memes, which are just purely memes of the Doge and the Shiba Inu, whatever. But I think it has to do, it's also, a meme is just a narrative. So you can very easily take the meme of layer 2. So we have this idea that high gas fees are bad. High gas fees are very bad. Now that's debatable. It could be a good thing, could be a bad thing, but the narrative, it's bad, okay? So what does that mean? That means low gas fees are good, right? So what does that mean? Then perhaps a layer 2 solution is going to be the next narrative because right. of this issue. That could
it's like another case where you're taking something that feels like a fundamental, the cost of transacting on the network, and you're turning that into a narrative or a meme that powers enthusiasm for a certain category of investment.
Absolutely.
It's interesting you mentioned Doge and Shiba Inu, because I often think about those as really actually excellent foils for Bitcoin. And what I mean by that is like, I think they help investors understand Bitcoin. It's very easy to sort of get caught up in the idea that superior technology translates into value in the market. But the truth is, I think Bitcoin owes a lot of its price, a lot of its valuation increase to memes, to narratives that are strong, that are powerful. Digital gold is a powerful meme. It's caught hold. That and when that meme kind of combines with the design of the protocol and its behavior over time, that to me seems like a very powerful combination.
Absolutely. I would take it in a slightly different direction. I would say that, Doge, it helps people understand that money itself is a meme, right? So the US dollar, the government-backed currency is a meme. That is also a narrative. It is not a fact of life. It's not physics, right? So that, I think, is a very, very powerful perspective.
That's a very difficult thing, I think, for Americans to understand, given how long it's been since any kind of real currency disturbance has occurred here.
It's a good meme. It's a good, powerful meme. What can I say?
It's a very good meme. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So, well, I guess just to kind of let me give you a little time here. I know you've got some projects coming up you're working on for 2022. You're planning on starting the year with celebrating the launch of a new project called CliptoDAO. Tell me a little bit about that. What is that? How did it come about?
So Clipto is a crypto version of Cameo. So you can get personalized content from your favorite celebrities, creators, whoever it may, influencers, whoever it may be, but it's built entirely on chain. So you make payment on chain and you receive the content as an NFT. And it's a very simple idea, a very basic idea, but that's what Clipto is. It came about because, as you saw, I was making these videos, and people were asking me, "Can you get on Cameo?" I would pay for you to say these words, whatever it is. And I applied to Cameo, and I just never got a response from them. So that's kind of the classic crypto story. You get banned from your bank, you get banned from PayPal, you can't make an account. So I'm like, well, you know, maybe I should actually try to make a crypto version where it can be more permissionless. And actually my wife, she gave me the idea. I want to give her credit. She was like, well, maybe you should, you know, go for that. And I was kind of thinking about it, but then, you know, after she mentioned it, I thought, why not? So we kind of got a group together. And this was all done via Twitter. I just posted the idea several times, trying to get enough attention, trying to get enough eyes on it. And eventually we were able to get a group of developers, maybe 5-10 people, to believe in the project enough that they were able to commit time to work on the project. So we're very close to launching, and I'm very excited to see what comes next.